Again, quoting Gemara Masechet Megillah, Maran brings down in Siman Kuf Nun Aleph Sif Aleph, Ve'en mechashvin cheshbonot. A person is not allowed to conduct matters of public business in the Beit Knesset. And the Biur Halacha, Maran Chafetz Chaim points out that even though in general there's a certain allowance, a certain leniency when it comes to dealing with matters that are for the community, we still do not allow it in the Beit Knesset. Find another spot. Wow. Certainly, if a person has to do his own calculations, want to pay your bills in quiet, find a quiet spot, the Beit Knesset is not a place for it. What about Seudat Mitzvah? So it's brought down in different Sfarim. Seudat Mitzvah would technically be allowed in the shul because, as Maran himself writes, anything which is Sorech Mitzvah can take place, can occur in the Beit Knesset. However, when it comes to Seudat Mitzvah, a person has to be careful, as it's brought down in the Poskim, anything, as this brought down in Sefer Halichot Olam, Chelek Aleph, at the beginning of Parashat Vayikra. Maran Chacham Ovadia writes that if the Seudat Mitzvah is going to be serving alcoholic beverages, or even aside from that, if there's going to be a concern for that lightheadedness, sort of the jocular attitude of forgetting that we're in the Beit Knesset, then even the Seudat Mitzvah would not be allowed. There is a question that comes up, certainly when a school is oftentimes starting out and it's tight on space, it's renting a place in the shul, are you allowed to conduct classes in the Beit Knesset? So there's a tshuva that Avichai Gaon also brought down over there in the Halichot Olam that is very controversial. It's not clear what he means exactly. Avichai Gaon writes that to teach math classes, or back in the day when they were learning Arabic as the language of grammar, he allows that in the shul under certain circumstances. And therefore certain poskim say, and we see from here that b'shat hadachak a person could use the shul. Bensoussan writes, En lecha chilul Hashem gadol mizeh. That he says that's not what the Avichai Gaon meant. There is no greater chilul Hashem than to use the Beit Knesset for just mundane secular studies. And therefore he says that Avichai Gaon meant something totally different. However, Chacham Ovadia points out that the simple understanding of Avichai Gaon seems to indicate that there is a place to allow the shul to be used for studies. However, it has to be under the supervision of a Rav, in the sense that you can't teach anything in the shul. Anything which would, God forbid, be contrary to what we stand for in Torah values, of course that's no good. They shouldn't be learning that bichlal. But any time that you have a high school class, like I just tell you from experience, the high school class might have the allowance technically to teach math in the Beit Knesset, but knowing the boys, every now and then it certainly can get a little bit out of hand, and therefore it should be reconsidered. That's at the conclusion of the Yabia Omer, that B'shat HaDachak, if a person has no other place, and the subject material is not contrary to Torah, and there's going to be proper decorum, B'shat HaDachak, you could teach the high school studies or any sort of secular studies in the shul as well.